Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Julia. We are truly happy that you are spending a few minutes of your day with us, because today's topic can completely change the way you think, feel, and live your life. So wherever you are right now, maybe at home, walking outside, studying English, or relaxing after a long day, take a deep breath and enjoy this conversation with us.
Hello, everybody. I hope you are all doing great today. And honestly, Jason, I think today's topic is something almost every person in the world struggles with. Sometimes our minds become too noisy, we overthink, we worry too much, we feel stressed, distracted, emotional, and sometimes even mentally tired. One small negative thought can stay in our minds for hours or even days, and slowly it starts controlling our mood, our confidence, and even our decisions.
That is so true, Julia. Many people believe that controlling the mind is impossible, but the reality is this. If you do not control your mind will control you. And that can affect your happiness, your goals, your relationships, your studies, and even your future. The good news is that the mind can be trained, just like a muscle. You can become mentally stronger, calmer, more focused, and more confident step by step.
Exactly. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to control your mind in daily life, how to stop negative thinking from controlling your emotions, and how to build a peaceful and disciplined mindset. We will also share practical habits, real-life examples, and simple advice that can help you improve both your mindset and your English at the same time.
So stay with us until the end of this episode because this conversation might inspire you to see your mind and your life in a completely different way. Let's begin. You know, Julia, one of the biggest problems in modern life is that many people are physically present somewhere, but mentally they are everywhere at the same time. Their minds are constantly moving from one thought to another. They think about the past, worry about the future, compare themselves to other people, and carry stress in their minds every single day. Even when they are trying to relax, their brains refuse to stay calm.
That is absolutely true, Jason. And I think social media has also made this problem much bigger. People wake up in the morning and immediately start checking their phones. They see other people's success, beauty, money, relationships, and perfect lifestyles online. And without realizing it, they begin comparing their own lives to everyone else's. Slowly, negative thoughts start growing inside their minds like, I'm not successful enough, I'm not attractive enough, or my life is not good enough. And those thoughts can seriously damage a person's confidence and peace of mind.
Exactly. And another big reason why people cannot control their minds is overthinking. Sometimes a person experiences one small problem, one mistake, or one negative comment, and then they replay it again and again in their heads for hours. Instead of finding solutions, they become trapped inside their own thoughts. Their minds create fear, stress, anxiety, and imaginary problems that may never even happen in real life.
Yes, and emotional reactions are another major issue. Many people react too quickly when they feel angry, sad, disappointed, or stressed. Instead of pausing and thinking calmly, they allow emotions to control their words and actions. Later, they regret what they said or did. This happens because the mind becomes stronger than the person. Instead of controlling their thoughts, they become controlled by them.
And honestly, Julia, Many people are mentally exhausted because their minds never rest. Even at night, they continue worrying, thinking, and stressing about life. Their bodies are tired, but their minds are still running. That's why so many people struggle with peace, focus, and happiness today.
Exactly. But the important thing listeners should understand is this. If you struggle with overthinking or negative thoughts, you are not weak and you are definitely not alone. Almost everyone faces this battle inside their mind. The difference is that mentally strong people slowly learn how to guide their thoughts instead of becoming prisoners of them.
And that is exactly what we are going to explore in today's episode: how to take back control of your mind and build a calmer, stronger, and more peaceful life step by step. Now, Julia, I think many people misunderstand the idea of controlling the mind. Some people think it means becoming emotionless or completely stopping negative thoughts forever. But honestly, that is impossible because the human mind naturally produces thousands of thoughts every single day. Thoughts will always come and go. The real goal is not to stop thinking. The real goal is to stop letting every thought control your emotions, actions, and decisions.
Exactly, Jason. Controlling your mind simply means learning how to guide your thoughts instead of blindly following them. For example, imagine someone criticizes you or says something rude. An uncontrolled mind reacts immediately with anger, sadness, or frustration. But a controlled mind pauses, thinks carefully, and responds wisely instead of emotionally. That small pause can completely change a situation.
That is such an important point. Mentally strong people are not people without problems. They are people who have learned how to stay calm during problems. They understand that not every thought deserves attention. Just because your mind says something negative does not mean it is true. Sometimes the mind creates fear, doubt, and insecurity automatically, especially during stressful moments.
Yes, and I love thinking about the mind like a muscle. If you never train your body, your muscles become weak. The same thing happens with the mind. If you constantly feed your brain with stress, distractions, negativity, and overthinking, your mental discipline becomes weak. But if you practice focus, patience, positive thinking, and self-control every day, your mind slowly becomes stronger and calmer.
Absolutely. And another powerful thing people should remember is this: controlling your mind does not mean controlling everything around you. Life will still have challenges, disappointments, and difficult moments. But when you learn to control your reactions, your mindset, and your emotions, you stop becoming a slave to every situation.
That's right. A peaceful mind is not created by a perfect life. It is created by mental discipline. And honestly, one of the most powerful feelings in the world is realizing that your thoughts no longer control you. Instead, you are finally in control of yourself.
All right, Julia. Now let's talk about the practical side of this conversation, because understanding the problem is important. But changing daily habits is what truly transforms the mind. The good news is that mental control is not something you are born with. It is something you build little by little through small daily actions.
Exactly, Jason. And the first habit people should focus on is controlling their mornings. Many people wake up and immediately check social media, messages, or negative news, and their minds become stressed before the day even begins. But mentally strong people try to protect their mornings. Even 5 or 10 minutes of silence, deep breathing, prayer, gratitude, or positive thinking can completely change your mental energy for the whole day.
That is so true. And another powerful habit is learning to watch yourself talk. The way you speak to yourself matters more than most people realize. If your mind constantly repeats sentences like, "I'm a failure," "I can't do this," or "I'll never improve," your confidence slowly becomes weaker. But when you replace those thoughts with stronger and more hopeful words, your mindset begins to change. Your mind listens to the language you repeat every day.
Yes, and I think one of the most important skills is learning how to pause before reacting emotionally. When someone makes you angry or stresses you out, do not react immediately. Take a deep breath. Stay silent for a moment. Give yourself time to think clearly because many problems in life happen when emotions speak faster than wisdom.
Absolutely. And another important habit is training your focus. Today, people are distracted almost all the time. They try to do many things at once, and their minds become exhausted. But focus creates mental strength. When you train yourself to give full attention to one task at a time, your mind becomes calmer, sharper, and more disciplined.
And finally, protect your mind by being careful about what you feed it every day. The videos you watch, the people you listen to, the conversations you join, and even the content you consume online all affect your thoughts. Positive input creates a stronger mindset, while constant negativity creates mental chaos.
Exactly. Small daily habits may seem simple, but over time they completely shape the way your mind works, the way you handle emotions, and the way you experience life.
Jason, can I be honest about something? Sometimes I feel completely overwhelmed by my thoughts. There are days when my mind keeps jumping from one worry to another, and even small problems start feeling huge. I try to relax, but the more I think, the more stressed I become.
I understand that feeling, Julia, and honestly, many people experience the same thing. But one important lesson I learned is that not every thought deserves attention. Sometimes the mind creates fear and stress automatically, especially when we are tired or emotionally overwhelmed. In those moments, we need to slow down and calm ourselves before believing every negative thought.
That makes sense. I think one of my biggest mistakes is trying to solve everything in my head at the same time. I keep thinking and thinking until my mind becomes exhausted.
Exactly. Instead of fighting every thought, try focusing on one thing you can control right now. Take a deep breath, calm your body, and remind yourself that stress grows when the mind loses focus. Peace begins when you stop feeding negative thoughts with more fear.
I really like that advice because sometimes we forget that our thoughts are not always reality. Just because the mind says something negative does not mean it is true.
Absolutely. And the more you practice calming your reactions, controlling your focus, and speaking positively to yourself, the stronger your mind becomes. Mental control is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming more peaceful, aware, and disciplined every single day. You know, Julia, one common mistake many people make is expecting instant results. They try to control their minds for 2 or 3 days, and when negative thoughts still appear, they become frustrated and think nothing is changing. But mental discipline is not built overnight. Just like physical fitness takes time, training the mind also requires patience and consistency.
That is so true, Jason. And another mistake is trying to fight every single negative thought. Some people become afraid whenever a bad thought enters their minds, but the truth is that everyone experiences negative thinking sometimes. The goal is not to completely eliminate every negative thought. The goal is to stop giving those thoughts power and control over your emotions and actions.
Exactly. And honestly, many people also ignore their emotions completely. They pretend they are fine. They hide stress inside themselves, and they never give themselves time to rest mentally. But controlling your mind does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means understanding your emotions without letting them control your behavior.
Yes, and another big mistake is spending too much time around negativity, negative people, negative content, and constant distractions online. If your mind is constantly filled with stress and negativity, it becomes much harder to stay peaceful and focused.
Absolutely. Real mental strength comes from daily practice, self-awareness, patience, and healthy habits. Small improvements every day eventually create a strong and disciplined mind. You know, Julia, I truly believe that one of the greatest victories in life is learning how to master your own mind. Because when a person cannot control their thoughts, even small problems feel heavy. But when the mind becomes calm and disciplined, even difficult situations become easier to handle. Your mind can either become your greatest enemy or your strongest weapon, and the choice slowly depends on the habits you build every single day.
That is such a powerful truth, Jason. And I think many people forget that mentally strong people were not born strong. They also struggled with fear, stress, self-doubt, and negative thinking. The difference is that they kept training their minds little by little. They learned how to stay calm during pressure, how to focus during chaos, and how to believe in themselves even during difficult moments.
Exactly. And listeners should remember this. You do not need to become perfect overnight. Even small progress matters. Every time you choose peace instead of anger, focus instead of distraction, or hope instead of negativity, you are strengthening your mind. Those small moments slowly change your entire life.
Yes, because a disciplined mind creates a peaceful life. And once you learn how to control your thoughts, emotions, and reactions, you begin to feel stronger, wiser, and more confident from the inside. That is real power.
Absolutely. If you can control your mind, you can control your direction, your habits, your future, and ultimately the person you become. So today, we talked about something extremely important: how to control your mind and build a calmer, stronger, and more disciplined life. We discussed why so many people struggle with overthinking, stress, distractions, and emotional reactions, and we also learned that controlling the mind does not mean stopping thoughts completely. It means learning how to guide your thoughts instead of becoming controlled by them.
Exactly. And we also shared some simple daily habits that can help strengthen your mindset, like protecting your mornings, improving your self-talk, learning to pause before reacting emotionally, focusing on one thing at a time, and surrounding yourself with positive influences. Small habits may seem simple, but over time they completely shape the way you think and live.
And our final advice for everyone listening today is this: be patient with yourself. Mental strength is built slowly, step by step, day by day. Some days will feel difficult, but every small effort matters. Keep training your mind with positivity, discipline, and self-awareness.
Because in the end, a peaceful mind creates a peaceful life. And the moment you start controlling your thoughts instead of letting them control you, everything begins to change.
Thank you so much, everyone, for spending your time with us today. We truly hope this episode helped you understand your mind a little better and inspired you to become mentally stronger, calmer, and more confident in your daily life.
Yes, and if you enjoyed this conversation, please support the podcast by liking this video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel for more English learning and personal growth content. Your support really motivates us to continue creating helpful episodes for all of you.
And don't forget, improving your English and improving your mindset can happen at the same time. So keep practicing English every single day. Keep believing in yourself and keep growing step by step.
Take care of your mind, stay positive, and we will see you again in the next episode of the podcast. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody, and have an amazing day.